Yo, some of y'all are just toxic, bro. And I mean toxic. Toxic people. The fact that y'all don't want me to react to what's actually going on in the world, things that affect me and you, important things, is crazy to me. It's like y'all want me to be in the dark, living up under a rock. No, I refuse. I refuse. I'm gonna be up to date on what's going on. And whether you like my opinion or not, that's on you. Straight up. Anyway, listen, y'all know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
Okay, so explain this then. If the sun is 93 millions of miles away, why is that spot only hyper-focused right here, but not all this? See, that's the glare from the sun. The sun is right there. If it's 93 million miles away, this would all be lit up, all glared up, all the way across, because it's so far away to have a hyper-focused area. Explain that, please.
So it's official. I got by the scam. About a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, I was selling something on like one of the local Facebook pages, and basically the guy's like, hey, I sent you over the money to hold the item. I'll be there Tuesday to pick it up, or I could send my brother sooner. I'm out of town on a work event. And I'm like, okay, I don't hold any items without full pay. I prefer not to do Zelle. Is there any way somebody can drop off cash so that I can hold the item for you? And he's like, no, I don't want to stress my brother out with it. Let me just Zelle you the money. So I say, okay, no problem. So I send him my email to Zelle over the money for the item that I was selling. And it was a pretty big item. It was a couch. And he's like, okay, I sent it over. So I get an email and I open it up and I look and I see that it's from Zelle. And then I look over at my bank account and check, and I don't see anything. I'm like, but for some reason it shows that it was emailed and I received it and confirmed it. So I'm like, hey, I got the email confirming I received the funds, but I didn't get the actual funds. Like, what's going on? And he's like, that's strange. Let me call my bank. And I'm like, okay, no problem. He's like, hey, they told me to send it again. And I'm like, okay. He's like, but I'm out, the X amount of dollars that I sent the first time because it's taken out of my account. And I'm like, well, I didn't get it, so you should probably still call your bank again. And he's like, oh, they said it was sent, but it's pending. So I'm like, all right. He's like, but I'll send it again, and then you just send me the money back. And this is where it starts to get fishy. So I'm like, okay. He sends me the money again. I get another email. Now I've got, twice the amount of money that he sent, but nothing's showing up in my account. And I'm like, well, why is this? Like, I've never had this issue before. I sell family members, it's a non-issue. He's like, just give it a little while. Sometimes in order for you to receive the money, you have to send me, $25 or something like that, and it'll pop up in your account. He's like, here's the directions from Zelle that I get when I do this. And I'm like, I've never had this issue before. So I'm kind of questioning it at this point. But in the moment, I'm a mom. I've got like 50 million other things going on. And in my head, I just want this freaking couch out of my house. So I messaged the guy again and said, all right, what's your info? I'll call my bank. And he's like, well, you can just send me the money and it'll send it. Here's the screenshot of what will happen next. And I'm like, okay. So in the moment, I sent him, the $25 or $50, I think it was. And I'm like, hey, just so you know, I didn't still get any payment. Like, I didn't get anything. Now I don't have an email, and now he stops answering. So now he just got $50 from me. So I'm thinking, how many other people is he doing this to? Or this person or this organization or whatever it is. How many other people are affected by this? Because it's just crazy that in the moment people are falling for it. Now, this was a while ago. This was when Zelle was, being hacked or craziness was going on. And again, totally complacent on my part to not question this and think, hey, this is fishy. I thought something was up, but I just wanted the couch gone. So I sent him money. That's hard-earned money that I worked for. That should not have been given to somebody who, honestly, worked pretty darn hard to get the money from me, but not legitimately. So I talk about scams because they're still going on. They find creative new ways to scam people, especially elderly people, because they're not great with technology or don't quite know how things work, and it sucks. So talk about it, share your experiences, don't feel embarrassed. So it's official.
Listen, I'm telling you, man, they are creative. And you be thinking you're talking to a real person. It might be a real person. You think it's a legitimate person. You think, okay, he's showing me this. He's showing me legitimate receipts of where this thing is. He's done this before. This has happened. And like I said, you be so busy and caught up with what you're doing. You're just trying to make the sale. You finally got somebody. Maybe you had this couch for a while, been trying to get rid of it for a while. So as soon as you get hold of somebody, it's like, okay, I got them on the hook. I don't need to let them go. It's kind of like you're fishing. And they end up scamming you. Like, and some people may be like, oh, it's just $50. Like she said in the video, $50 times however many people they've done that to, and I'm pretty sure she's not the only one, is a lot of money. A lot of money over time. Nah. Be aware, bro. That's why I keep trying to find situations and different ones so I can put them out there to y'all so y'all can be aware of all different types of scams. It's not just the toll scam. It's Zelle. It's Cash App. It's all of these different types of platforms that you use and you have your money in. Now, the crazy part is I was just in New Jersey, February 28th. I went to New Jersey, stayed up there for like 3 days, surprised my grandma for her 90th birthday. And your boy took his first flight. Whew. We'll talk about that later, though, because I'm still recovering from that. But I didn't think to look for the orbs. I was trying to do so much with grandma and be present and run around and do so many different things. I forgot to try to see the orbs, man. So that's one thing that I thought about once I got back here, and this reminded me of it here, that what they're showing that they were seeing over Patterson, New Jersey. Like, man, I was just there. I should have looked. I wasn't in Patterson. I was in Jersey City, but I should have looked.
This is all commercial airspace, friends. Like, what the this is not supposed to be. Come on. You gotta zoom better. Look, it's going down. It's going down. Is it landing? See? It's going down. It's going down. It's getting to the tree line. It's in the tree line.
Now, that might be the first time there that I say that could be somebody's personal drone there. I've never seen them, like, or we haven't seen it on video yet, somebody actually showing one going down. So that could be somebody's personal. I don't know.
Landed. You all saw that, right? You all saw that, right? You guys saw that, right? I'm not crazy, right? So this is all while, you know, that guy's flying around. This guy's flying around. Who else is out? Who else is out right now? I'm seeing like 3 blinking flights, and then a bunch off in the distance. Here, look, here, there's a bunch flying around here too. All right, so I don't even know what to say with this. Like, you guys saw that. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna kick it here for about 2 more minutes, and I'll hang out with you guys. I'm not gonna keep this too long, but we'll see if this one goes back up, because that's what happened. It went down there, and then like 3 minutes later, it went back up. So what are we doing here? That thing just landed. You all saw that, right? I mean, I got that on camera.
President Trump continues to crack down on illegal immigration. The administration says they're going after what they call the worst of the worst. These are supposed to be individuals, known criminal records, who are in the country illegally. But as ABC News has witnessed firsthand, it's not stopping there. Family members, including children, are being swept up into the uncertainty of these deportation operations also. Our senior political correspondent Rachel Scott got an up-close look at the ICE raids taking place, even embedding in Virginia with ICE agents overnight during 2 targeted operations. Here's a look.
This family, we don't know what other family members they have. That's why he has 2 days to go locate them and make sure these kids are with someone in their family that they believe will keep them safe and set a better example for them.
There is that likelihood that these families could be separated.
There is consequences, and we're giving him time to leave these children with someone else.
Rachel Scott, join us now as you had a chance to.
That's the part you hate to see. What happens to the children? You know what I mean? A simple bad decision not only affects you, it affects your kids too, man. Like, that's the part people don't think about. Like, the kids.
Talk with the new DHS secretary there. So give us more insight on what it was like just to see these families, the children, the whole operation, how it goes down. Your thoughts?
Yeah, these were 2 targeted ICE raids, Kira. And so authorities had an idea in mind who exactly they were going after. And in that second location, when I interviewed the DHS secretary, this one was really interesting. They had someone who they said was in the country illegally, who had been deported twice before, then convicted of sexual battery. They knew that he was home. They had someone monitoring his home for hours, but also inside of that residence, 2 children, 2 minors, and also an uncle to those minors. And what they found ultimately is that the uncle may also be in the country illegally, but because he was there with those minors, they ultimately did not apprehend or arrest him, but they gave him 2 days to get it together, to turn himself into authorities, figure out some sort of situation for these minors. And so this really does raise the question, what happens to the children? We are learning by the family members that those 2 children are American citizens. Their mother is not in this country. Their father was arrested this morning, and a family member told us right after he was arrested, they went to school.
Interesting, because Tom Homan, the border czar, was here on set with us, and we asked him about the kids, and he said, look, there's going to be people that are going to be discovered. They may be targeting one family or one person, and then there will be other people kind of caught up in all of this, and they have to take it by a case-by-case basis. But, I mean, I guess, is it fair to say it's nice to see that at least something was done about the kids, or there was time in between to figure out what to do? They didn't swoop in and take the whole family. I mean, how did DHS Secretary Noem address that with you? You know, these kids and what could happen next. Is it going to be a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, this is essentially what DHS is telling us, that this is going to be a case-by-case basis, that every single operation, they're going to evaluate what exactly should happen going forward. In this particular instance, you had someone else that was an adult, a family member that was home, that they didn't want to leave those minors home by themselves. But again, if this is now the legal guardian for these 2 children, these 2 minors, and this uncle is now potentially deported as well, what exactly happens to those kids? Do they stay in the United States? Do they have other family members? But she very much said this was a case-by-case basis. She also told me, look, these are the consequences. She said, unfortunately, she said that the father put them in this scenario by coming to the country illegally, by committing a crime, and that she believes that those people should be out. But obviously the humanity of this all as well. And you had these 2 minors watch their father get arrested and then have to.
I think that's where most of us are torn at, the humanity of the situation, because we acknowledge the fact that the parents were irresponsible in their decision making and put these kids in a messed up situation. You know what I mean? And now when somebody comes and does something, and now they have to try to figure out, okay, what do we do? How do we, like, is there a program? Like, how do we not disrupt this child's life the best way we know how? And that's where a lot of situations are going to be at. And I wonder, they must have a hotline or something, because how do they know? Like, they ain't just doing that good of an investigative job. Don't get me wrong, people are good at their job, but they gotta have some kind of hotline, and people are calling in saying, hey, you got somebody over here that's here illegally or something. Like, how are they finding these people?
To proceed all along with the rest of their day and go to school.
Appreciate your reporting. And it's good to get an inside look and try to weave out, okay, what's for show? What are you really seeing on the ground? Did you get a feeling of sort of both?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all hands on deck here. It was not just ICE there. DEA, they also had the ATF, they had the FBI. This was a very large operation, and one that officials honestly had been tracking for a while. When you talk about someone waiting outside of these homes for hours to make sure that these individuals are there so these operations can be successful. And the first operation that we went on was a known gang member. And so here you have ICE agents really interacting with what they are calling violent criminals, this effort to get them out, a priority for the Trump administration.
Rachel Scott, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant at Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Look right here, bro. This is a perfect example of how we're separated as a country. Half of the people in the room standing, half of the people are not standing and applauding, bro. This is a perfect depiction. Somebody should just frame this and put it on a wall to show how we are so messed up, bro. Like, we can't come together for nothing.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you.
Well, if it feels like the cost of your breakfast plate is going up, you're not imagining things. Eggs, bacon, coffee, and orange juice. Yeah, that's all slowly starting to creep up as well. One of the things impacting the citrus industry, hurricanes,
Hurricane Milton,
Hurricane Ian,
Irma.
also citrus greening.
The problem begins with a tiny bug called an Asian citrus psyllid.
When the psyllids feed on the citrus plants, the bacteria gets injected into the tree.
Once that bacteria reaches a tree's roots, it's game over.
We're here at Joshua Citrus in Arcadia, Florida, where you're looking at some of these citrus plants that are also impacted by greening. How do we know?
This fruit for a grapefruit is extremely small. Normally, your grapefruit would be about that. It would almost cover my whole hand.
But still edible.
Yeah, it's edible. And it tastes great. But you're not getting the size and you're not getting the normal color turn that you normally would.
Stuff like this that's driving the price up.
Yes.
And this crop is slowly disappearing. One farmer telling us that this fruit could one day just be a novelty, replaced by high rises that so many growers are actually selling their land here to developers because they are.
What'd that sound like to y'all? To me, that to hear somebody say this will no longer be available or they have to do something else or will be replaced by, that lets me know that something's going to be grown in a lab to replace it. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm hearing in my brain. It's simple. Like, it seems like we're headed towards that way slowly because the food that we're normally accustomed to eating is going scarce. No.
They are no longer making enough money to sustain their groves here.
Clock is ticking down to when you'll need to have the new Real ID in order to catch future flights. The deadline is coming up on May 7th, and a lot of people, myself included, still have questions about what we got to do. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello has the details to make sure you're ready for takeoff.
64 days till the government's Real ID requirement takes effect. And while the TSA says it has the flexibility to phase in enforcement, it is strongly urging anyone planning to fly to have a Real ID or passport by May 7th. If you don't have a Real ID as of May 7th,
it will be significantly more difficult and you will be delayed
at checkpoints within airports across America.
Nationwide, the TSA says 78% of flyers already have real IDs, but nearly a quarter don't. To get a real ID, you'll need to provide an ID or documentation that includes full legal name, DOB, social security number, lawful status, and 2 proofs of address, which could include a payroll stub, rent, or mortgage payment. With long lines at DMVs nationwide, states are spreading the word.
Your Real ID is your most important carry-on.
Real IDs have a star in the card's upper corner, while California has a bear and a star. While 99% of Maryland is already Real ID compliant, just over 30% of Illinois is.
We're doing everything we can here in Illinois, but again, I've got tremendous fears for chaos at our airports across the country.
Congress passed the Real ID security law after 9/11 on a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission.
Next year, make sure you have the star on your ID.
But Congress has hit the pause button many times. Now, a new May 7th deadline. But if you're not flying until the summer, there's no reason to rush to your DMV right now.
The clock is ticking down to...
So all this time I've had a fake ID, I guess. That's what I'm hearing right now. You know what I mean? And is this gonna speed up anything? I get it for their reasonings and security reasonings and different things like that, but I don't know. Like, and y'all didn't tell me or warn me about the airport either. I guess this is a good time to talk about it, bro. So when I flew to New Jersey for the first time, fam, y'all didn't tell me about takeoff. Oh my God. And y'all didn't tell me about landing. Oh my God. And y'all didn't tell me about the turbulence. Apparently, when you hit a cloud or something like that, you start hitting some turbulence, bro. Oh, I don't know if my heart can take that. I need some time in between flights. You know what I mean? Then when they show you the speed at which you're traveling in, oh, yeah, that was crazy. That was an experience. Then the angry TSA workers and stuff like that. Like, bro, like why work here if you want to be upset? You're angry. I ain't do nothing to you, fam. Like, I ain't do nothing. You told me to take my shoes off. Took my shoes off. Put all my stuff in that little bin. I put all my stuff in the bin. Make sure I ain't have no belt on. All this type of stuff. Didn't go through. Like, what you angry for? I ain't angry, and it's early.
Move this gentleman from the chamber.
I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. I have people who are very fearful. These are poor people, and they have only Medicaid in their lives when it comes to their health care. And I want him to know that his budget calls for deep cuts.
Nope, let me off. Let me off the plane. I don't watch Final Destination way too many times. And when somebody trying to tell you not to fly on this plane, you might want to take heed. I know you spent a lot of money on this flight, but if you've seen that movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So they're saying a passenger tries to stop a plane for a very odd reason. The description reads, a passenger who missed his flight ran onto the airport tarmac in a desperate attempt to stop the plane. Let me hit more. Hold on. From departing, footage shows the unidentified 29-year-old man running toward the jet in Chile on Monday. So he was trying to stop the plane from departing because he missed his flight. Is that the reason? I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it. It puts me in the mind of Final Destination. Don't do nothing like that. And I'm pretty sure the passengers on the plane didn't know nothing about it unless the captain advised them of it. Would you have gotten off? I think I'd have had to get off of that bad boy right there. You'd have told me that. Let me off. Let me off.
I'm asking our new Secret Service Director to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service. DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. I am asking our new...
Listen, finally some positive news that both sides could be appreciative and happy about. Shout outs to that kid, man. Cancer survivors, bro. If you've never known anybody with cancer, you truly don't understand what a person who has cancer goes through and what they have to deal with on a day-to-day. And just having your life being questioned and you not knowing, and it's a lot of unknowns surrounding you surviving is a lot. And it's a lot for a kid. Like, this is dope. This is dope. I like this.
All right, thanks, Brett and Martha. Welcome to Hannity. And yes, we are live. We are in Washington, D.C. All right, thanks, Brett and Martha. Welcome to Hannity. And yes, we are live. We are in Washington, D.C., where only moments ago, President Trump wrapped up his first joint address to Congress of his second term. Coming up, we got a lot of reaction analysis from several people who were inside the chamber. Senator Ted Cruz will join us, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, our Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and House Speaker Mike Johnson, and many other special guests. We'll also check in on our friends in the Democratic Party who continue to make just utter fools of themselves with their little props and disruptive outbursts and coordinated smears and even some vigorous cane waving. Take a look.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country. Small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
All right, a lot more on these antics in just a moment. While Democrats, they play stupid games with their performative stunts, President Trump is on the move. The nation saw that tonight in all of its force, if you will. In only 6 weeks, we have seen more action, more results from the Oval Office than almost anyone thought possible. Let's take a look.
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. And we've ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first day. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. I
don't know. We gotta revisit that whole free speech thing, because a lot of us still don't feel like we have free speech on certain platforms. Certain things you cannot say. Now, I'm not out here if you're spewing hate. I'm not talking about spewing hate or anything like that. It's just still certain things you can't even speak about on a lot of platforms that aren't hurting anybody else or disrespecting anybody else. It's like, what? Where? So not everybody's listening or taking heed to the whole free speech thing. They're not.
across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer. I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
On top of all that, President Trump created DOGE to identify waste, fraud, abuse, corruption, now rampant inside our federal bureaucracy, including Social Security fraud. Take a look.
1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby. Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229, one person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going, and it's not going to be pretty.
And, of course, the Bobby Kennedy joke, one of the big lines of the night. Of course, the Democrats in the room did not celebrate DOGE. In fact, they couldn't even bring themselves to stand and cheer for President Trump's pledge to remove taxes on tips and overtime and Social Security. Take a look.
Very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts. Now,
I'm trying to figure that out, too, because I'm hearing some people say that's not true. The whole income tax cuts and all of these different cuts on tips and different things like that. They're saying it's being reported that it's not true. So this is my issue right here. I never know what's what. So if you wonder why I go from Fox to CNN to this one to that one, it's number one, I'm trying to hear both sides. I never like to hear things one-sided. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. The fact that you just listen to one side, that's crazy to me. No, I want to hear both sides. And I'm trying to see where the facts lie. And I'm getting mixed messages. So I'm still trying to figure out about these tax cuts that we've heard about, that they've been telling us, tips and other ones, whether or not it's true.
All across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
Democrats tonight were so pathetic, they couldn't even stand for Laken Riley's family. Jocelyn Nungary, his mother, a slain officer's wife, Stephanie Diller. They couldn't even stand for a beautiful 13-year-old cancer survivor who dreams of being a police officer and tonight became a Secret Service agent, DJ Daniel. He said, "This is my 5th time at a joint address from President Trump. And sadly, there is nothing this president could do or say that would make these Democrats stand and cheer. This has now become a party of rage and hate, a radicalized party reduced to a collective temper tantrum, sitting on their hands, doing nothing for the American people. But tonight, this is also a defeated party. No solutions, no coherent message, no plan for the future, simply reduced to political stunts and smears and outright lies. And they were holding the little signs that read, "Save Medicaid," even though President Trump promised to protect it. Others held signs smearing Elon Musk. Congresswoman Tlaib brought her very own whiteboard. Paul Rove will be jealous, presumably so she could make it up as she goes along. But tonight's speech wasn't about the angry Democrats that have no vision for our country on the left side of the chamber. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even about politicians on either side of the aisle. As always, President Trump's speech was dedicated to you, the people that make this country great, the American people. Moments ago, the president highlighted the courage of one brave young man from Texas. This was quite a moment. Take a look.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer. But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
If that don't make you smile, bro, you ain't got a heart. I promise you, bro. You don't got a heart or a pulse, man. If that don't make you smile right there, bro. Like, in all of this, just is hate and everything that's going on right now. This bright spot right here by this kid, man. Oh my gosh, bro. I just can't stop smiling at this right here. I love this.
How great was that?